do that, you've matched that increase in salary or, I mean, the disposable income.
And that's lifestyle inflation. So a typical, like, let me just try and give an example. So somebody earns 2,000 CDs now,
Hmm.
and then maybe there's an increase to maybe 2,500, and then they
Yeah,
stop. I mean, the kinds of things that they used to do, they stop doing them and they try to upgrade. Because now they have some more breathing room. That is lifestyle
exactly.
inflation. I see. Now, is it always a bad thing?
Well, so you see, if you don't take care, like that's what I said earlier, if you're looking at it on the face value, right, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I earned what I'm spending. I worked hard for what I'm spending. So it mostly looks like you have the right to spend because you worked for it. It's your own money. But if you scratch it and go deeper, you realize that that money you earned that could have been used for something or build wealth, you're eating it away. So you tend to enjoy the current benefits of it, the pleasures that comes with it.
Mm,
But in the long run, it comes back to hurt you, right? So it makes you, I always put it this way, it makes you vulnerable, right? In the meantime, in the current state, you feel, I mean, you're enjoying what you worked for,
mm,
right? Yeah, but in the long run, it comes back to hurt you if you don't control it,
right.
right? It's good to improve. It's good to, I mean, once in a while upgrade yourself. But once it becomes persistent, like as in the definition of inflation, once it becomes persistent, it eats away the future benefits you could have got from um, the increase in income.
Mm, I see. Right. So it's not entirely a bad thing, but over time it tends to affect you. And you're saying that it's okay to improve your life. How much of the improvement is too much?
Well, so improvement in life actually, right, should be planned. I always tell my people, you have to actually plan the life such that you know what you are doing at any point in time.
Mm,
When that improvement is not controlled, right? If it is not planned for, then you are definitely likely to fall into that inflation trap, the lifestyle inflation trap. So the improvements should be well planned, and then it actually shows that you know where you want to get to, building wealth, which will be the bedrock of that improvement plan, not just to show off. The catch and the funny thing is, in this modern world, people want to show off. They want to show that they are rich. That is not necessarily improvement.
mm,
Improvement actually should be the bedrock, the background, not what people necessarily see, but what you're actually doing to be better than, be a better person of yourself than you are today. That's actually what the improvements mean. So if you have the mindset that the improvement is just to show people on the outward what you are, like showing off and all that, then that is not the improvement. So the improvement, the level that the improvement should be is um, to kind of a well planned improvement just to make you better off than you are today, than just showing off um, that you've actually improved, which will definitely eat away the um, income or the rise in disposable income.
mm. I see. Now, many people actually believe that once they earn more money, their financial problems will disappear. Why does that not always happen?
So earning more money doesn't necessarily mean you're becoming wealthy, or I mean you are automatically solving your problems. No. Let's look at it from the financial statements. I mean, income, right, is something that flows. It comes and it goes. Okay, it comes and it goes. If you don't control how the income that you earn lives, right, you will always be at the same place before the income got in. Now, let's it's like, just like a treadmill, right? A treadmill. You can increase the speed, okay? You you can increase the speed on the treadmill, and yet you are not going anywhere. The income increases, but on a treadmill, you are still running at the same place. That's how it is. It now comes to you, or it's up to you to actually manage that income, to be able to set aside or create a system where parts of the income is really channeled to that system that you can fall on in terms of emergency or anything that comes up, you can fall on. But once the income comes in, and then immediately you have something for that income to do, which is a direct spending, not saving, not channeling some of the income to a safe haven, like keeping some for future and all that. Once the income is directly matched with the expense or the spending, it doesn't matter how much you earn. It doesn't really matter how much you earn. Once you are able, you are always matching your income with spending patterns. Once the income is there, I have a friend, right? When we started, he was a sales assistant, and he was earning those times he was earning 1,000 cedis, and then he was promoted to sales manager. He earned, so the 1,000 cedis he was always complaining. I like the money is not enough. He has to do other stuff, and then he was promoted to manager, sales manager, and then he was earning close to 5,000, and then he still comes back to me and complain. I was like, you were earning 1,000, you were complaining, you were able to live on the 1,000, even though you said it was not enough. Now you move to 5K, 5,000. The same person, nothing really has changed with you. You don't rent, and yet you are still complaining the money is not enough. Nothing really changed. What really changed was you increased your spending to match that salary.
That
The
salary.
same person earned the same person earned 1,000 was complaining. Currently, he's the regional manager for the company, regional sales manager. He's earning close to 13,000, and he calls sometimes to borrow money from me. So it's the same person. So it doesn't really matter how much the income is. If you match that income with consistent spending, not uncontrolled spending, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you earn.
So it doesn't matter how much you earn. It's about your financial, discipline, and how well you
Exactly.
you know your stuff. I mean, all right. So are we saying that it is usually? I mean, is it a mindset thing, or is it like a spending habits thing, or what exactly is it?
So it's purely psychological. Lifestyle inflation is purely psychological, right? And if we are going through the causes of what actually caused lifestyle inflation, you realize that it's purely psychological. One, I was talking about having to reward yourself for a hard work done,
Yeah.
right? You think you worked very hard for that salary increase or for that bonus. So once it comes, you need to find something for it. Just enjoy, like feel that you've reached or you are there. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So that mentality that I worked hard for it, and so I can enjoy it. I have the right to enjoy it. That is one. And then the desire to be rich. You see, the pressures in the system now, if you're going on social media, if you are not someone who is really disciplined, the pressures alone will push you into this trap. Now, if you permit me, Paul in his first letter to Timothy mentioned this lifestyle inflation, right?
Really?
Even though he didn't say it, I mean, directly. If you permit me, I would want to read that.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, in his first letter to Timothy, the chapter 6, verse 9, right? He says, but those who desire to be rich, I'm saying this because I said people desire to look rich. I mean, because to match up with the status of the society and all that. He says, but those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction.
Mm.
And that's what this whole lifestyle thing is. If the desire to be rich, to show that you are rich, and I have a book, it's under review, The Rich and the Wealthy. You desire to be rich. Richness is actually the outward. Wealth is actually inward, right?
Mm.
The desire to be rich, people need to see that yes, my life has gone like ahead. So people are always trying to achieve a certain status in the society for them to be seen. Okay, this person is at this level and all that,
Right.
and it's psychological. Also, social comparison, like people in the society, you see your friend recently got an iPhone 17 or an iPhone 16, and then you think, ah, this person, I'm always on the same level with this person, and he's got this. Now
Mm.
you fall into the trap. I need to get that, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So it's purely psychological, just to achieve a certain status in the society, in the community, for people to see you and all that. It's actually a mentality thing. It's a mind thing. Yeah.
I see. All right. So, okay, maybe there's somebody listening to us who doesn't know whether they fall into this category where they are actually struggling with lifestyle inflation. What are some early warning signs that they may be experiencing lifestyle inflation?
Well, if you want to know if you're already in the trap, what I would recommend you do, right, is do a lifestyle audit, right? Lifestyle audits take for at least, let's say, a month or a period where you had an increase in salary, or you got a bonus or all that. A lifestyle audit, check your spendings for that period. If it's 3 months, check your spending for that period. That's only if you were actually recording it. But you can still track recently with the convenience stuff, mobile money, digital platforms, and all that. You can track some of your spending. Track it or audit it. Get to know what you actually spending on.
Mm.
Where some of them really needed, or you just wanted them, right? So once you're able to do that audit, right, you sit back, you reflect, you do that audit, you realize that there are certain expenses or certain spendings in um, your list that at that point you didn't really need them.
Mm.
And I emphasize on need. You didn't really need them, but because you wanted to show that, I mean, you're also there, or you felt like getting it, you moved in for it. Once you're able to do that lifestyle audit and you are really conscious about it, you'll be able to pinpoint where you are in the trap, and then you'll be able to take yourself out.
Mm. I see. All right. You mentioned the mobile money, the digital payments thing, and I know you weren't talking about what I'm about to ask you, but once you mentioned it, it just brought something to mind. Do you think that easy access to these services, digital payments, the buy now, pay later services, and all of that, the credit and all of that? I mean, today anybody at all can just get some loans and all of that to be able to solve certain things around. Do you think that is also one of the drivers of lifestyle inflation?
Exactly. Exactly. Even in our part of the world, is actually now emerging. If you are in the Western part where they have these credit cards and all that, it's actually one of the major fuels that's burn that lifestyle inflation,
Mm.
because you want to get this, right? And it's lifestyle inflation. Actually, you actually desire the thing before even the income comes in, right? And so once you have access to a credit facility that will be able to fund that desire even before the income comes, you fall to it, right?
Mm.
And the having easy access to that income. Okay, I can do it now, and then when my salary or whichever income comes, I mean, it should be taken out. It automatically puts you in the trap. The convenience of having your mobile money in the wallet, these fintech stuff, the convenience of having them actually exposes you to these things. And one thing too is the push selling.
What's that?
Now, because of come again,
What's that? What's push selling?
push selling, where marketers actually bring to you directly what they want you to buy. You might not even need it, and it brings about impulse buying. You might not even need it, but because you have the access, they just push it to you directly, and then they try to con you to get what they are selling on the media. And once you have access to these digital platforms, and there's that push selling, even if you didn't want it, right? The way they've described the thing, if you are not disciplined enough, the way they've described the thing, and then having an easy access to a digital platform that can fund it at that moment, you fall into the trap.
Mm.
So these digital platforms rightly put people in the trap as well, honestly.
How can we deal with that?
Okay, so it's about systems, right? If personally, what I do is with my way of budgeting, I don't budget amounts. I do the budgeting with percentages, right? So irrespective of the amount, the increase or whatever, it's a percentage of it going into a particular account.
Right.
Okay, and ideally it should be automated. You don't have to get the money into the accounts and now you go and look at your percentages. Okay, let me send this to this account, let me send this to that account. If you are doing that way, you might not be disciplined enough. You will keep it and say, okay, the next pay that comes, I will do it. You might not even get there. So once you have the system with those percentages, once the money drops in, it is automated into, let's say, a savings account, an investment account. Then what is left, you can use for the needs and the wants, right? But if you leave your financial life open, okay, without any system, then you are prone to these things because there is no system to guide the financial life you're living. Then you are prone or you are exposed, you become vulnerable to this lifestyle inflation because we are almost always in this world, the current world, we are almost always on the social media. And the kind of things we are seeing there, if you don't have a system, a controlled and well-established system that you use to manage your finances, you will see something, you think you didn't need it or you didn't want it. But the moment you see it, you begin to think, and if you don't think it, you fall into the trap. But if the system is already in place where you're looking at the future, so you divert some of the increase into that or some of your income into those accounts or those systems, then you'll be safe. But without any system, any financial planning, then I mean, we are not going anywhere. We just be on the treadmill, running, sweating, yet we stay in the same place.
All right. Anyway, please hold on for me. Let me just announce the phone lines in case anybody listening to us wants to join the conversation. Well, if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nitra Bihamond. And this morning, we're talking about lifestyle inflation. My guest is Sian Boateng. He is a financial expert and he joins me. I mean, he's over the phone lines having this conversation with me. If you've been following, then you probably have some questions for us this morning. Feel free to send them to our WhatsApp number 0544 321019 0544 321019. Send me your questions. I'm happy to get Sian to answer all of them for you this morning. If you also want to call us, you can call us on 03039 56641 03039 56641, and then we'll give you the opportunity to ask your questions or share your thoughts with us this morning. Let us know when was the last time you inflated your lifestyle. Are you a victim of this and all of that? Tell us on our social media platforms as well. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please feel free to drop a comment there and I'll read them for you. All right, so now let's continue the conversation. So I want us to look at the hidden cost of lifestyle inflation, because one thing that we see a lot is that there are some people that they are high income earners. I mean, like your friend you mentioned a while ago, but they still struggle financially. Why does that happen?
Yeah, so there is a opportunity cost to this, right? That amount, that increase, okay. So we're talking about the hidden cost. That increase, the amount that was used to raise your spending, right? The increase in spending, let me put it that way. The increase in spending. Let's look at it from this angle. Imagine you put that increase in spending, a portion of it, or I mean a chunk of it, maybe 50% into um, an investment account that compounds either annually. I mean, that has a compounding effect, right? For years or months to come, that amount grows and is able to fund another project if you actually had some in mind, because all these things we're talking about comes with sound planning. So if you really plan your life well, that amount, the rise in income, a portion of it that was put into an investment account that compounds, I mean, periodically, over time, it grows and is able to feed another project. Now, the cost is that if that amount, instead of being channeled into an asset or a venture that can recreate itself, is spent on the go. Once the money comes, you spend it. Then the opportunity cost, or the cost, is that you lose that value that you would have created for yourself if you actually put a part of that money aside for the money to recreate itself, or I mean multiply itself, right? So the opportunity cost now is that you've lost it. And the funny thing is, these things, once they happen, now you sit back when you're reflecting, say, I could have put this money here. Yes, of course you could have. Now that's where you actually see the cost of it. When in momentarily, when the money comes and you are spending, you are happy, honestly, because you really enjoy that moment. Once it goes down, then you start becoming wise. I could have, if I had put this money here, it would have multiplied and I would have got it. So the opportunity cost actually is not saving or investing a portion of that money and then pushing everything into, I mean, to match up into expenses or spending to match up the rise. With that, you are almost, you will lose every time and you will be at the same place, because when there is an increase and you match it up with the spending, it cancels out, right? The increase cancels. And a typical example is these subscriptions. I have a friend who is on Spotify, Apple Play. Like, once the money is coming in, you want to get all these things, right? How often are you listening to music? That you should be on multiple audio streaming apps to listen to music, right? You can
Mm.
just have just one, right? And then you'll be able to get the list of songs you want to. Personally, I don't do that. I get all my songs from Instagram, Telegram.
Mm.
I get them from there, which I'm not paying. I don't know if it's right, but I'm not paying. I just stream my my songs from Telegram. But
Right.
I have friends who've paid for Spotify and all those things. I mean, it just increase. You see, in as a single, you think it's not expensive. Like a single subscription is not expensive, but if you're putting all the subscriptions together, you realize that it's even outweighs the increase you think you had. And at the end of the day, you have nothing to show. So you are earning more, and yet you are still at the same place complaining, talking about the same complaints you had like years ago,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So that's the cost. You don't save for the future. You spend the future now, and it makes you vulnerable. You are just one emergency away from financial ruin. You don't have anything, a buffer to back you up when you get into trouble, when you are being laid off. It's one of those life happenings. You don't know what happens tomorrow. I mean, an emergency can happen, and because you've already spent that chunk of the money on these things, or you increase your spending to match up your income, there is nothing in buffer to back you up, and then
Mm,
it makes you vulnerable. Now that's where people really fall on these credit cards and then mobile money, the loans and all those things,
right.
because you've already eroded the income, and now there's an emergency, you need to fall on credits to be able to fund it.
But does it also impact retirement planning?
Come again?
Does it impact retirement planning in any way?
Retirement.
Yes, retirement planning.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Um, let me say this personally, right? I plan to retire by the age of 40, 45. And wealth building, in my book, wealth building is what you actually need to do to be financially free, right? If if you're earning now, particularly as a young guy or a young lady, you're earning enough or you're earning much now, and then you are not looking into the future on how you're going to settle, right? You end up living paycheck to paycheck, and then by the time you retire, you have nothing to show. You have nothing. You now depend on the state's pension, right? Which often may not be enough, right? So as part of the retirement planning, you put money or you invest into assets, right? That when you are retiring, you can now fall on that. You don't even put your mind to what the state is going to give you, because that money is not really enough. It depends on how much you were earning though. But if you have assets you've invested in your early ages, if you've invested into assets that keep the cash flows coming, you can retire as early as possible because you've invested for the future rather than um, I mean spending all that you earn now. You can plan on how early you want to retire, what you want to do at retirement, and how you even want to retire.
Mm,
And that's part of the planning. So you can even one policy, one principle I have is that an inflow or a money I did not budget for, right? If I didn't budget for any money and that money comes, straight away it's into savings or investment.
mm,
Because in my plan for the month, I didn't foresee that money coming. So
coming.
I didn't budget for it. So it's not even part of my plans. So that if that money comes, already I have planned what money is doing what's in the month. So if that money comes, it's just an extra money and I don't have to spend it. So I just put it either in a savings account or one of the investment account, either in stocks or wherever, because I didn't plan for that money. But the ordinary, when that money comes, a money that is not budgeted for, when it comes straight away, I mean, you have the liberty to spend. So
Mm,
it's actually leads to the retirement planning. If you're able to do that, you have sound retirement and a peaceful retirement than always to be chasing the national pensions for your retirement pay.
right. Okay, let's look at some practical solutions so that we can try and wrap up now. So, if someone receives a salary increase tomorrow, maybe or anything at all, what should they do before increasing their lifestyle?
Yeah, so that's what I said earlier. It starts with the system, right? Once you have a system and you are disciplined enough to follow the system, irrespective of the increase, the system takes care of all that you're supposed to do. Ideally, what you're supposed to do when you have an increase, right, is to divide that increase into portions where you know part is going to savings and investments, part is being added to the already amounts budgeted for financing your needs. And then there are some that's a portion of it that you give to the wants. So there is the 50, 30, 20 rule where the 20 goes into savings and investments, 30 for wants, and then the 50 for needs, right? So if you have a system like that already in place, you don't even have to worry yourself so much thinking about what the increase should do, because you already have the life planned such that you have this investment. And mostly what I tell my people is, if you are investing, every investment you are doing should have a purpose,
Mm.
right? Once the investment has a purpose and a timeline for that purpose, once it reaches that, so for instance, you want to start real estate or whatever, maybe you want to start real estate business in say 2030, right? And then you're earning as much today, but what you're earning can't even start it. In 20, so you plan that by that 2030, I should have a capital of this amount. You look at an investment that can yield that amount in by that 2030, and then you know what you're supposed to put in that investment on a monthly basis based on your current um, income levels, what you have to put in that account to be able to reach that target by 2030 to fund the project you want to start. Once you have it, that you have a system that way, and there is an increase in pay or salary, bonus, whatever, you have a system that channels a percentage to that account. You are set. So
Mm.
the main thing now is to have a system that works, a system you can follow. You know yourself. The, it doesn't matter how much. The thing is to have a system. It doesn't matter how much you earn now or the amount that is put in. You can have the percentage and then it's just 20 cedis you are putting in the investment. But once you are disciplined enough, if the salary increases to, let's say, times two or times three, that percentage, the amount going into the investment account also increases.
Mm.
So you start small, but the system should be there for you. Right. Once you have the system, irrespective of the amount, the increase, once it increases, the system takes care of it. And like I said earlier, it should be automated, some of these things.
Mm, right. But what role do financial goals play in all of this?
Yeah, so financial goals actually is what leads to this financial freedom, right? Financial independence. If if you don't have goals, financial goals, then your life is open, your financial life is open. You buy anything as and when they come, right? But if you've actually set goals for financial goals and you know exactly what you want, when monies come, you don't just buy anything, you don't just spend on anything because you have goals in place to actually achieve. And goals should come with timelines. Yeah, that's smart concept, right? The last part, the T, there should be timeliness or the timeline. If that goal has a timeline and then you are earning today, because you have goals and you know what you want to achieve, you don't just spend anyhow. But if there are no goals, I mean, your life is open. You do things as and when, I mean, they come. You see this thing today, oh, I want this. And once there's money in the account, you just fund it and then you get it. But if there are goals in place, it helps you structure how or control how you actually spend. Yeah,
Mm. And that can help you deal with lifestyle inflation.
exactly.
Mm. All right. So if maybe there's somebody listening to us, if maybe the person has realized that, oh, they've already, falling into the lifestyle inflation trap, how can they reset their lives? Is it something that they have to do psychologically, or
So it's not too late, right? It's never too late. But the sooner you act, the more powerful the compounding effect in your favor. I mean, it's not too late because some people realize that they wasted life even at the age of 40, 50,
Mm.
right? So as a young guy or a young adult, if you realize it now, it's not too late. The first step is not to not a dramatic lifestyle cut, right? You see, one the trap actually is that once you get to a certain status, you set yourself up now. Now people know you in the society at that status, right? If it becomes somewhat difficult to derail from that status,
Mm.
like to come, the trap is it always puts you there that now this is how people see you. That's the psychological effect. This is how people see you. So you have to find and maintain that status. And that's the trap. So if you really are at that level where you now want to change, it's not about having a dramatic lifestyle cut, right? But like I said, you first need to do the lifestyle audit. Check which spendings you are actually doing a lot that do not add value. And the word is value. Do not add value to like this streaming, subscription, Netflix, like those stuff. Those spendings that do not add real value to your life, right? When you do the lifestyle audits, now you start plucking them out one by one, right? And then you freeze the lifestyle at where it is. Don't increase it again. If you want to stop, right? The next pay increase should not elevate the current lifestyle. Where
Mm.
you are is okay. Okay. The next pay increase should not, I mean, increase the spending again. But at the current stage, you just do the lifestyle audit, you pinpoint some of the leakages in your finances, and then you try to seal those leakages. And then you be disciplined enough not to increase spending when there is an increase. And now you put the system in place as well. Then gradually redirect existing spending away from low value items towards savings. And the catch is small consistent shifts compound significantly. You see, it's when you're able to start small, right, and you're able to build that discipline, it doesn't become difficult when you have more,
Mm.
right? If you're able to start now, you build that discipline small, bit by bit. When there is a huge rise or there is an income coming from anywhere, because you already have that system and you'll be able to build that lifestyle, you don't, fall into the trap again. So if wherever you've built yourself to at the moment, just do the lifestyle audit. Look at some of the leakages in your finances, things that do not add real value to um, your life now. Just pluck them out, and then make sure that the next increase does not mean you increase or you inflate your current status as well. Just stay there for some time. I mean, and then channel a lot of the increases into assets. And when I say assets, not depreciating assets, I mean appreciating assets, right? People want to buy cars not for business. I mean, it helps in convenience. I mentioned it earlier, but you realize that you buy the car, you have to buy fuel, you have to buy, you make maintenance and all that. And then in the next 5, 6 years, the car is broken down. You want another car and all that. I mean, car
Mm.
is good. I wouldn't say it's no good. I mean, it's good, but you check your current status, your current situation. Do you really need it? Can you build a formidable asset base such that even if you are getting a car now, that assets, the cash flows from the asset can fund the car.
Mm.
If you're not able to fund the car and you have to now use the little income, like the salary income and all those things to fund the car, then I think to some extent you are not there yet.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Eric, for your time. But maybe your final words, and I would want to make it a question. So, what kind of mindset do people need to have so that they can deal with lifestyle inflation?
Well, the mindsets people need, and that's what I actually do when I go on the Young Investors platform talking to people. The mindsets we need It's the wealth mindset, right?
Mm.
The wealth mindset is what it's unfortunate that most of us don't are not most of us are not exposed to these things at the early stage. It's what you're made 20, 25, 30s that you get to know about these things. But the wealth mindset is what we need to put in our mind. Like that's what we need to develop, right? And the wealth mindset makes you understand that you need solid financial independence at some point in your life where you can choose not to work and yet there is that cash inflow, right? Once you have that mindset, now you begin to think about how do I actually become wealthy. So in my book, I was talking about the rich and the wealthy.
Mm.
Richness actually often is seen on the outward, like the rich. When you say someone is rich, like you can see, okay. But the actual wealthy people, it's not really shown. They build assets in the background that that protects them for a very long time.
Right.
Okay, so the wealth mindset is what we actually need. You once you have that mindset, you sit, you design strategies how you want to be financially independent. You give timelines to it. I want to be financially independent by the age of 35. Now, what do I need to attain that status? That's where you be um, conscious and deliberate. You have to be intentional about it. Sit with yourself,
Mm.
discuss what are some of the things I need to do to attain this status. By age of 35, like I said, by 40, 45, I need to be retired. What am I doing to actually attain that status? That if I'm retired and I'm not working, I'll still be able to cater for my family, cater
Mm.
for community, and help others as well.
Right. Okay, Eric, thank you very much. I think that this has been a very good conversation, and I'm really grateful that you made time to join us this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, please
You're
do
welcome.
enjoy the
Thanks,
rest.
thanks, thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you
All
too.
right. All right, so folks, I think that's been a very good conversation this morning. My guest has given us a lot of nuggets. Eric Sian Boating, he is a managing partner at Nexus BI, and he is a financial expert. And he joined us this morning. We spoke about lifestyle, inflation, and why more money, more income doesn't always mean more wealth. And the point is clear that many people just get money and then they increase their their income, and then they also increase their expenses and all of that, which is something that is quite problematic. If you want to build wealth long term, then that should not be something that you should pay attention to. If you get extra income, Eric says that think of putting that into an investment, so that you can be able to secure yourself for the long term, and then be on the path to financial independence and financial freedom. So that is that, and that's how we wrap up today. Special thanks to my guest Eric Sian Boating, finance expert, and also thank you for listening to us this morning. We're back again tomorrow with some more interesting conversations. It's Friday, and so very light conversation, but very, very important. So make sure that you join us tomorrow as well. My name is Nitrebi Hammond, and I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, keep listening to Z101.9 FM. And when you think Ghana, think Z. Up next is The Brighter Side with Jeremy Okorie Amwako. Take care of yourself, and please make sure